welcome to class 12 online education for the subject economics. Today we will read unit 6 topic State of Indian Economy on the Eve of Independence. So let us understand Indian economy on the eve of independence. We'll begin with features of Indian economy on the eve of independence. On the eve of independence, Indian economy was stagnant. There was very slow or no economic growth in the country. As a result of stagnation, there was unemployment, death and suffering due to lack of food was observed. The economy was also backward. Indian economy was backward and per capita income was very low, and in India it was just rupees 230 from 1947 to 1948. The status of agriculture sector was also backward, with 70% of people engaged in agriculture. Its contribution to GDP was only 50%. The productivity and production too were extremely low, which caused for backwardness in the agriculture sector. Industrial sector was also backward during the independence. Industrial sector was not developed. There was a lack of basic and heavy industries in the country. Widespread poverty was also observed on the eve of independence. The people in country could not even meet their basic needs, that is food, shelter, clothing. Unemployment and literacy were other issues faced by the country. The infrastructure status was also very poor on the eve of independence. Infrastructure like communication, transport, power or energy was underdeveloped. Even the education system was very poor, so which lead to backwardness of Indian economy. Then it was also observed that the major dependence was there on import. As a result of industrial backwardness in the country, several consumer goods like medicines, food items were imported from abroad, which led to decline in the foreign exchange reserves. Limited urbanization also observed during the eve of independence. Majority of population lived in villages, meaning that they lacked opportunities and outside the agriculture. Now let us understand the status of agriculture sector on the eve of independence. It was backward. So what was the reason behind the backwardness of agriculture? The first reason is low production and productivity. Production refers to total output and productivity refers to output per hectare land. Both were very low at the time of independence, and which caused backwardness of agriculture sector. The second reason, high degree of uncertainty. Agriculture India was heavily dependent on the rainfall due to the lack of permanent means of irrigation, and no efforts by Britishers were made to strengthen the agriculture sector. As a result, the production was very low in agriculture sector. The third reason for the backwardness of agriculture sector is the dominance of subsistence farming. Subsistence farming means the farming that is done just to meet the basic needs of the farmer. In India, subsistence-based farming was done, resulting in little or no surplus left for sale, meaning that there was lack of commercial outlook, and this lead to the backwardness of the agriculture sector and nation. The next reason for agriculture stagnation is difference or the gulf between the owners of the soil and the tillers of the soil. The owners of the soil shared the output with the tiller, but they did not share the cost of production. The owners were simply interested in increasing their income in terms of share of output, and for tillers, agriculture was source of sustenance, and for the owners, it was source of income without investing or creating a wide economical gap. The next reason is small and fragmented holdings. There were small and fragmented land holdings leading to low output at a high cost of production. Therefore, land holdings were uneconomical, and this couldn't lead to implement the farm management. Zamindar system or land revenue system under the British Raj was again one of the reasons for stagnation of agriculture sector. During the British rule, a unique land revenue system was introduced in India. Under this system, a triangular relationship was set up between the government, the owners, and the tillers of the soil. This system was called the Jamindari system. The features of the Jamindari system can be explained as: Jamindars were recognized as the permanent owner of the soil. Jamindars had to pay fixed sum of revenue to the governments as land revenue, and if they were unable to do so, they stood in danger of losing their rights. So Jamindars were free to extract as much as they want from the tiller of the soil as they wished and could. So this put the farmers into indebtedness. Now commercialization of agriculture again was one of the reason for backward agriculture sector. It is observed that increase in the higher yield of cash crops in some part of the country but failed to improve the economic condition, because instead of producing food crops, now they were producing cash crops which were to be ultimately used by British industries for their home country. So farmers were forced to produce cash crops, particularly indigo, as it was required by the textile industry in Britain for dyeing, bleaching of the textile. So this commercialization of agriculture pulled the farmers into indebtedness and also make them more poor on the eve of independence. So it leads to perpetual indebtedness of the farmers. Now let us understand industrial sector on the eve of independence. Industrial sector was too very backward, and in order to understand the backwardness of industries, we can understand the topic of systematic deindustrialization. So what this systematic deindustrialization terms refers to? It refers to the decay of India's world famous handicraft industry due to the discriminative policy of the Britishers, and also bleak growth of modern industry due to the lack of investment opportunity. So this was the objective of the Britishers, to ruin the industrial sector in our country and to promote their own manufacturing finished goods into the Indian market. So let us understand the decay of handicrafts. Before the Britishers came to India, our country was worldwide famous for its excellence and the quality of handicrafts. But after the initiation of the discriminating policy, Indian handicraft was ruined. So let us understand the reason behind the decay of the handicraft. The first reason is discriminatory tariff policy of the state. Britishers found India best source of raw material and best market for their finished goods, and they started the following discriminative tariff policy, according to which the export of raw materials from India was tariff free, the import of British industrial products in India tariff free, and heavy duties was placed on the export of the Indian handicraft products. British finished products captured Indian markets, and therefore the decay of the handicraft was the result. Now the second reason for the decay of handicraft is disappearance of the princely courts. At the time of the independence, India was divided into two sets of territories. The law of British India was placed in both the central and the local governments, which means that the princely states somehow existed under the influence of the law. Local rulers encouraged the handicrafts, making them reputed worldwide, but with the greater influence of British law and the discriminate policy, the decay of handicraft took place in the country. Competition from machine-made products become one of the again reason for the decay of handicraft. The machine-made products from Britain were low cost and gave tough competition to handicraft products in India. This competition forced the Indian craftsmen to shut down their enterprises forever and couldn't encourage to invest in the handicraft industries, which caused decay of handicraft again. The next reason is new pattern of demand. The impact of the Britishers can be seen on our culture and thinking too. This led to the emergence of the new class and new pattern of class that preferred British products again Indian products. So demand for Indian products reduced and the demand for the Western clothes or the Western items increased in the country due to the influence of the Western culture on the eve of independence. Introduction of railway in India was again one of the reasons for the decay of handicraft. Railway were introduced in India by the Britishers for their own selfish motives in order to expand their markets for the finished products in India, and their expansion leads to decay in handicrafts. We can also understand the downfall of Indian industry with the help of the cycle. So let us understand this cycle. Decline of handicraft industries leads to import of manufacturing goods from Britain. It leads to India an exporter from exporter. So the number of industries reduced in the country, which led to massive unemployment in the country. As a result, our economy became stagnant. So this is how we can understand that due to industrial sector backwardness, Indian economy becomes stagnant. Now, another reason behind the stagnant of industrial sector is big growth of modern industry. Right now we have read about decay of handicraft industries. Now let us understand that what was the influence of British policy on modern industry. Only a few industries like Tata, iron and steel, sugar, etc. industries were established on the eve of independence. Limited state participation in the process of industrialization was observed from British government, and absence of capital goods in the country, again one of the reason for the bleak growth of modern industries. So altogether we can say that the industrialists were not encouraged to invest in any industries, and the capital goods industries were completely invisible in Indian economy, and which cause again bleak growth of modern industries. Now, progress of the modern industries can be understood as late 19th century, cotton and jute textile mills were there. Then in early 20th century, iron and steel industries were observed, and post Second World War, some industries such as sugar, cement and paper industries were observed. But altogether, no capital industries worth the name. In the absence of industries, process of industrialization become unbalanced. So altogether, slow growth of modern industries observed on the eve of independence. Now let us understand the status of foreign trade under the British rule. The status of India as an exporter of raw material and importer of finished goods. India was the exporter of prime products such as raw, silk, cotton, wool, sugar, indigo, and importer of the capital goods and the other finished consumer goods like cotton, silk, woolen and clothes. So this kind of the export and import was observed under the eve of independence, and this composition made it backward and stagnant. Thereafter, the monopoly control has been seen by the Britishers. Britain maintained monopoly control on import and the exports as well. 50% of India's foreign trade was restricted to Britain only. India's exports provided raw materials to the Britain industry, and imports provided huge market for the British industry. So altogether we can say that the foreign trade was favorable for the British economy but couldn't bring any advantages to grow the Indian economy. Then misuse of export surplus was also observed on the eve of independence. Huge export surplus came at huge cost to the country's economy and caused drain of Indian wealth. Essential commodities were scarcely available in the domestic market as these were exported and didn't result in any flow of gold or silver into India. Surplus was used as administrative expenses or an expenses of war fought by the Britishers. So altogether India was able to get surplus in their exports, but these surplus was couldn't use for the promotion of the Indian economy, rather it was used for strengthening the British company. Now let us understand the status of demographic condition. In the status of demographic condition, we can observe high birth rate, high death rate, high infant mortality rate, low expectancy, and low literacy rate. We all know what is infant mortality rate, but let us understand quickly. It is number of death of infants under 1 year age. What is life expectancy? It is number of years that an individual is expected to live. And literacy rate is percentage of people who are able to read and write. So as we observed that in demographic condition, high birth rate and high death rate was observed in India. Birth rate was nearly 48 per thousand compared to 19 per thousand in 2017. Death rate was nearly 40 per thousand compared to 7 per thousand in 2017. So great difference has been observed here. Both these rates were high, indicating to poor healthcare and backwardness of country, which led to massive poverty of a country. So this kind of demographic condition was observed on the eve of independence. Apart from that, let us understand what kind of infant mortality rate was there on the eve of independence. 218 per thousand infant were dying before reaching 1 year of age compared to present rate of 40 per thousand in 2014 and 15. So these data shows higher IMR was an indicator of poor state of healthcare of the country on the eve of independence. We can also understand the demographic condition through literacy rate. Let us observe the data. Overall literacy rate was less than 16% compared to 76% in 2014 and 15. Female literacy was very low. It was only 7%. Low level of literacy rate was an indicator of social backwardness of the society on the eve of independence. If we'll talk about life expectancy, it was also very low. It was only 44 years in contrast to the present 68 years, which also indicates poor healthcare facilities and lack of general awareness to keep health. So this kind of demographic status was observed on the eve of independence. Now one more thing we can understand here. What was the population growth? If we see about the population growth, we can discuss about the year of Great Divide. Now what is this year of Great Divide? It is a year wherein we found that the growth of population was increasing. So 1921 is regarded as the year of Great Divide because population started growing at a very rapid rate after 1921 and due to medical advances resulting in fall in the death rate. So before 1921 we were finding that there was a fluctuation in the population growth. Sometimes it was increasing and sometimes it was decreasing. But after 1921 only the rapid growth of population was observed, and that's why this year is known as year of Great Divide. Now let us understand the status of infrastructure on the eve of independence. Some basic infrastructure were developed by the Britishers such as ports, railways, post and telegraphs, water transport. But what was the main aim in promoting this infrastructure development in the country by the Britishers? The main aim was, or the main motive was, to serve various colonial interests rather than the growth and development of Indian economy. Because we already have observed that India was the importer of the finished goods from the Britain, and Britain or the British rulers, they were willing to expand their market in India. So these infrastructure made it very easy for them to widen the market in India. So here the topic is over. Thank you so much.